Hi there, thanks for joining me today. I have a little flip through of a little book. It's a little Christmas journal, the second one of the season that I recently completed, and I made it from a little book on Sophocles, and it was originally published in 1924, so that makes it the book itself 100 years old. So it's an oldie but a goodie, and I think that it's going to enjoy its second chance at life as a sweet little seasonal journal. It's very Christmassy, but it's also very wintry, woodlandy, and yet still I didn't overdo it. This isn't one of those chock full journals that come ready-made. This book is ready for you to make it what you want it to be. So I had a little fun in it, and then I stepped away from the journal, and the rest of what it will become is completely in your hands. But I sure had fun with what I did do. And let's do a little bit of measuring and see the size of this little sweetie. So it's about, the cover itself, the spine curves out a bit. The cover itself is not quite 3 3/4 and 6 1/2. And then the book itself is about not quite 1 inch. I was able to put in 108 pages of varying sizes, as I love to do. And I put a few of the original pages back in, not many, as it really wasn't the kind of book that's suitable for what I turned it into. However, that said, I have put aside a few of the original pages so that if the new owner just wanted to make a couple of tags from them, they'll have them, so they'll go along with the book. And but in the meantime, it has a completely new life. So what I did was, you'll see the front is adorned with this beautiful Beatrix Potter illustration of 2 little bunnies taking wood and twigs and sticks into their little house. It's winter time and there's snow, and this beautiful frame. Thank you, Tim Holtz, for all these frames. I'm in love. I couldn't leave well enough alone and added a little, just a touch of gilding wax here and there of gold, because it's wintry and Christmassy and needs to sparkle. Same with this bit of holly here that was Tim Holtz. I did have to add a little bit of sparkle to that. On the other hand, I've added some tea-dyed cheesecloth and some tea-dyed antique lace here. And this is wool tartan from somebody's, I sure think it was the waistband off of a lady's skirt that was tailored and taken in, or perhaps taken out, I'm not sure. But I just thought that was the perfect little addition to make this cover complete. Now the spine, I've added, there we go, just a little stocking, and down here is my usual antique sunshine that I like putting. Lately I've been putting it in various places in the journals that I create. Normally it stands for Sunnyside Journals, but in this case it also could stand for the winter solstice, which is the welcoming back of the sun and longer days ahead. And then on the back is a blank little label that you can fill in with whatever you wish, and a little poinsettia So let's take a look inside. On the interior, I have had fun. I have mostly taken my inspiration from just animals and nature, but not overboard. I did keep the original publication date, so you can see there that this edition was 1924, and I made it into a tiny little tuck spot and put a little Tim Holtz card and made it a journaling card. I personalized it a bit, and then I backed it with some of the original paper that was from the original text block. The opening page here has a fussy cut from one book and fussy cut from a completely different, this is from paper from a Kathy Holden pad of seasonal paper. Now this is also can be a tuck spot. Say you're in a hurry and you know you want to put it in your book and you don't have time right now. You could tuck something up in there just to keep it safe. And if you think you're never going to use it as a tuck spot, it's no trouble to put a little dab of glue under there and just glue that right down. You don't need to leave it that way. I've added lots of lace. Some are vintage and some I believe are antique. These center ones look like they were taken off of a previous either tablecloth or, you never know, nightgowns. They saved and reused all kinds of things. This scrapbook paper that I used, I tea-dyed ahead of time because I didn't want pure white. I wanted it to look 100 years old. Here's a little piece of music, Silent Night. And then I used a page further in the book, you'll see, from Edith Holden. And this was on the page, and I didn't want to waste it. A green Yule makes a fat kirkyard. And it's also a tuck spot. So if you can just enjoy the page as it is, or you can also use it to put, maybe you've journaled on a private piece of paper and you just want to have somewhere to tuck it. And one of the few white pages in the book, but I used blue. Since there was blue here, I used some blue ink and my lace stencil. And where I could, I decal edged the edges of the papers. Here I've made a little fabric tab from some seasonal ribbon that I've got of little evergreens, and then I added a vintage paper clip and put a little some beads and a tiny little snowflake charm on it. And this is just graph paper, but I made it it's full length, so it's a tip out, and there's some stamping and a little raccoon there. And then in the center here is some tea-dyed paper that I've edged with just a little bit of green ink, and I like the way that turned out. Seeing my stitching in here, it's got a running 6-hole stitch, which is my preference when I'm making a text block. It reminds me to let you know that this has got a hidden hollow back spine. Even though it's tiny, there is a hidden hollow back spine in there. 5 signatures, and we'll get to it, but there is a ribbon bookmark in it so that you can keep your spot where you were. So again, there's our little friend wandering by. And on this side of the paper that has the blues, I still had fun with the blue ink stenciling, and then added a cardinal. I decided to make use of the beautiful Tim Hortons and Kathy Holden and other things that I've been hoarding, and this is the year of using them. And there is a little cardinal sticker, and some of the evergreens were blue, and I thought, all right, let's, because there's blue spruce, and I love the blue evergreens that we certainly have here in Ontario. I'm not sure if your area has them, but I love them. The other side of the music, and just a little bit of tea-dyed cheesecloth that I tied or sewed with some Chinooki knots along there, and again another little woodland creature just sitting there nibbling on a snack, and this beautiful tea dyeing. I love how that turned out. Here's another little journaling card from some hoarded Tim Holtz. I've honestly had these for a couple of years now, and I just kept saving them for something special, and this is the something special. And I backed it again with a blank page that was from the original text block, and there's a rusted paper clip here with a bit of lace on it, so you can move that wherever you like it to be. And again, some more lace that's been sewn on. I've left the threads long. You can trim them short if you're not a long thread kind of person. Did I say I left the laces long? Left the threads are long because I like the long thread look, but not everyone does. And again, there's more that was from the page from Edith Holden. And it says, in December, keep yourself warm and sleep. I'm all for that. Boy, I might take her advice. And again, it's actually a tuck spot. So I didn't want to completely cover this up right now while we are doing the flip through so that you can see it. But you'll be able to use it to store any stories or journal telling that you have. And again, I just used a regular paper doily as a stencil and created just some little stenciling here and there on blank pages. Some tea-dyed music composition paper. This is wallpaper from the 40s out of a wallpaper book that my friend Nancy shared with me so generously. Here's the bookmark that can go anywhere you want in the book, and it just happens to be there. See what I mean? I showed great constraint to leave room for you. And again, the other side of the Kathy Holden paper, and another little friend, so some stamping, and the little bunny, which is a sticker from that, those famous books, the sticker anthology books. And I just thought he looked sweet. Now this is one of the important aspects of this book. The original owner signed it in several places, and it makes me wonder if she loaned it out a lot. She lived in Toronto. I was able to find her in our censuses, and she was born in 1907. Her name was Kathleen Agnes Wolfe. Her father was very high up for the T. Eaton Company, which is our Canadian version of Sears. And he was actually a friend of Timothy Eaton's son, who also, of course, was running the company. And it looks as though Kathleen Wolfe went to the Margaret Eaton School. And so it's probably why she needed this book. And so I saved quite a few of the pages where she had signed her name. And interestingly, when I was looking for her in my research, I love knowing who owned the books that I transform. And I found her wedding license. And sure enough, this is the exact signature that was on the wedding license, and it just warmed my heart. She lived till 1981. And so hopefully it was a happy life, and she's still buried here in Toronto with her husband. And from what I could find in the censuses, she had a mother and father and a younger sister, Georgina. So there's a little bit about the original owner. So I had to save it. And if you wanted to, this can be journaled on, or it can just be kept for memory's sake and to, like I said, I just like to honor the history of the book and wish it well on its new journey as something else. Here's some, as I said, the really old lace that I've sewn on, and then I've added a bulb pin with a little snowflake just pinned to it. And more Kathy Holden paper. Here's Edith Holden paper, and then I fussy cut some holly and put it on top. That's Edith Holden's painting. So I put it on the December page. And some more of the pages of varying sizes, as I like to say. This paper is straw paper from a friend. More threads here. I should trim that one. Oh, wish me luck that I'm careful. There we go. So that opens right up, and I don't know if you can tell, but I did some gold inking around the edge on the inside and green inking on the outside. And then a little bit more of the holly from Edith, and that's Edith's writing there that says holly and then the Latin name for it. This page that I used here wasn't quite long enough, so I Frankensteined some more of the green music scrapbook paper onto it and put a sticker of some evergreens, and one of them looks to be decorated. On this side, because this side of the music was blank, I put some lines on it for you so you can actually write there. And here's some more stamping with some more Woodland friends there peering out at us. Oh, hold on. There's a page in here. There we go. This page actually was torn. Sometimes when you pull it out of the tea bath, the paper's really fragile and it can tear. And I don't mind that. And it gives me an excuse to pull out my faux cellophane tape. So that was actually needed because that paper is actually torn there. And this is sewn on. This was a little vintage Christmas card, and I inked it up to make it look a little bit older because it still looked a little too new for my liking. Here's the other side of the page that this illustration came from. And because it said December, I couldn't resist. So it had to go in. And again, the page wasn't quite long enough on the other side, so I extended it by Frankensteining some onto it and a little bit more of that tea-dyed cheesecloth here, just for a little shabby chicness. And here's just a really nice waterfall effect of different size pieces of paper for the folios. I just love that look. Now here, the back of that tiny little Christmas card, just again, to me it looked too new. So I made some pockets and I used some more of the 1940s wallpaper, and it's really, really embossed and just luxurious. So I doubled it up, so there's 2 tuck spots there. This was going to be the original end paper, so in its memory, because I messed it up, I made a tiny little journaling card, and there's a little friend on it there. So I tucked that there, and he's sort of hiding as foxes will do. And then in here is one of the few times that I use scans. This is a little card that actually is in my great-great-grandmother's Bible. So I scanned it and have cut one to go in here. So, and it fits inside this little pocket here, but you can put it wherever you like. It doesn't have to go in there. Here's another one where Kathleen wrote her name in the book, but here she's written K. Wolf. So obviously her pet name was Kay. There's so many versions of nicknames for Kathleen and Catherine, Kay and Katie and Kate and Kathy. So it looks like she probably got called Kay. I know my mother always called me Katie, even though she insisted that everyone else call me Catherine. She called me Katie. And this is also from the original text block. And if you look carefully within that knotting, that looks like Celtic knotting, it says the world's classics, which is the series of books that this one came from. So I just made a little tuck spot out of it. I thought it was pretty and worth saving. Another one of the stickers that I swore to use this year. And I liked that, while shepherds watched their flocks, because it mentions animals in it. And this is a page from out of a gift book, or a guest book, but this is the list of gifts. So I thought, Christmassy. I didn't want to waste anything from the Edith Holden page, so that's one of the corners from the page. So page 170 got put back into the book. This is actually a little tuck spot. So I just, for tiny little books, there's such little room as it is, which can be a benefit because they're not huge and bulky, and sometimes some of us don't have a lot to say. We just have a little to say. And but by finding tiny ways to make tuck spots, you can give yourself more room to have your say. Again, a little stamping and a little stamp on the stamping from Canada, and a couple of little birds that are on a evergreen. And again, that I love how that tea dyeing turned out. This is what I call, for me, a double process tea dye. First, I tea dye it in a bath. I let it dry. That gives it this color that's all usually quite uniform. And then you can go back later and splatter some more tea on it and let it dry again. Or you can reverse it, and you can use, while your paper's white, splatter it, let it dry, and then into the bath it goes. Both versions will give you a nice result. So, and you know what, to be honest, I can't remember what order I did these ones in, but they turned out really, really nicely. And then on the last page, here's some more of the new end papers that weren't the ones that I had originally picked out. And I decided that a Two Nanas bookmark still needed to go in. So I call it the Two Nanas bookmark because that's my Nana, and that's my mother, who also was known to her grandchildren as Nana. So it's the Two Nanas bookmark, and it's a photo strip of my mom and my grandmother. But on this side, again, I scanned this. This was in my great-great-grandmother's Bible, whose name was also Catherine, and it was in her Bible. So I scanned that and put it on the other side of the Two Nanas bookmark. And here's a little card that's meant to go on to a gift, but I made it into a little journaling spot, but as well a little tuck spot. When I tried to age it and I had opened and closed it a few times. I guess because it's vintage, it was starting to crack here, and I was worried that eventually this front page of it was just going to break right off. So I reinforced it. If you're wondering what this is, my new favorite fold reinforcement for folios is coffee filters. So that's what that is, to make sure that that's strong and ready to last another 100 years. Oh, let's pull that thread out of there. And you can't see it, but even the fabric that I made the text block out of has little birds and evergreens. I wish actually we could see more of it, but I don't have very much of that fabric left anymore because I got it from one placemat that I found at a thrift store. So that's this little Woodlands Christmas solstice journal that I created. Again, 108 pages from in a 100-year-old book with a really pretty spine on it, a little bit of embossing and gold on there. And you can even see, if you look carefully, she had written K. Wolf up here in the corner. I noticed that at the last second. So she reminded me of my dad. My dad used to put his name on everything. At some point in his life, somebody must have taken something that was really special to him, because my dad put his name on everything so that if it got taken, and he spotted it, he could say, "Hey, that's mine," and flip it over and say, "See, that's my name." If I flipped this table over right now, you'd see that it says on the back, Ernie Brown. That was my dad's name, Ernie. Because my dad made this table that I work on. So maybe there's a little bit, maybe I'm related to Kay in some way, because she wrote it for such a little book. Her name was all over it. So I hope you enjoyed this flip through today. This book will be in my Etsy shop a little bit later. I will put the time down in the comments just underneath here. So look down below where I type and you'll see what time, and there'll be a link to my Etsy shop there in case you're interested. And I'll also post it over on Instagram, but it'll be later today. Usually I try for around 5:30 p.m. New York City time. I'm in the same time zone as New York, so that's the easiest way to for folks in other areas to figure out what time that will be. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this flip through, and maybe it got you feeling a little bit closer to stepping into the season. And we'll get together soon, because I need to go over to my stack of books and choose another book to get started on. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.